As soon as you get your private pilot's license, what's the first thing that you want to do? You want to take some passengers up and show them what this whole aviation thing is about. You're looking forward to dazzling them with the aerial views, or maybe you're aiming to impress the girl in the right seat with your slick radio voice. But let's be honest about something here. I'm very guilty of this myself in the past. If something happens or the flight doesn't quite go as planned, are these general aviation newbies gonna be thoroughly briefed enough in your airplane to help you work through that situation as passengers? I've seen some great passenger briefings by general aviation pilots done in the past, but most of the time, they suck if there was even one done at all. Let's fix that. I'm Josh, a pilot and flight instructor who loves the sky, sharing it with those around me and using it to see the world from a new perspective. Flying can seem super complex, but I make it my mission to promote safe practices while enjoying the beauty this world has to offer. Subscribe to Climb Into the Cockpit on future adventures. This is Aviation 101.
0991 New Orleans, clear to the Foley Airport via as filed. On departure, maintain 2000.
Hey everyone, Josh here from Aviation 101. It's a beautiful day here in San Marcos, Texas. It's January 17th, 80 degrees Fahrenheit and clear skies. The airport is a madhouse right now. Everybody has the same idea. Everybody's getting out to go fly, and I'm getting ready to go do the same here in just a little bit. It's an absolutely beautiful day. Before we dive into dissecting what a passenger briefing should look like, I wanted to mention a couple things. If you have a catchy name for these kind of hangar hangouts, I don't know, leave your comments down below. The last video of this format that I put out was about the new notepads that I released on aviation101.com. I now have 3 types of notepads for sale on the website. In 4 hours after I released that video, the new IFR notepads sold out. The timeline straddled the holidays, so it took a couple of weeks for my suppliers to print a couple thousand more, get them in stock. They were in stock 4 days ago again, and after fulfilling orders for everybody that pre-ordered them while they were out of stock, and those that ordered it after, I'm already out of stock again. I've already placed an order for a few thousand more of the IFR notepads. They're on the way. You can still place your orders on the website. They're just gonna be back ordered, and it will be fulfilled in a couple of weeks when they get back in stock. Aviation101.com/store. Link to the e-store is down in the description. The second item I wanted to mention was a new type of string of content or stream of content that I am starting to put out on Cockpit Club. What I'm doing is I'm mounting a 360 camera on a tripod in the left seat of the airplane. I'll sit in the right seat and I basically just go out and practice stuff. I'll pick something out of the ACS and go practice stalls. I'll go practice steep turns, ground reference maneuvers, go do pattern work, which is actually what I'm gonna go do today because it's been a really long time since I've just gone out to practice landings, and my last few landings have shown that. And these are raw, unedited, virtual reality videos. 360 videos where if you watch it, whether you're on your smartphone, an iPad, a computer, you can scroll around with the trackpad or mouse. I think even some smart TVs can handle this too, handle the 360 VR format. So if you wanna sit in the left seat of this airplane with me on a virtual reality flight, head over to aviation101.com/cockpit club. It's gonna be posted there for members of Cockpit Club. And I'm gonna try to make it a bi-weekly thing. Post one of these full-length, unedited VR flights to Cockpit Club on a different topic every time, every other week, twice a month. Airline crews have a script that they read to their passengers every time they taxi out to go fly. It covers every bit of operational and safety information that the passenger would need to know. As general aviation pilots, why aren't we doing the same thing? Our passengers' lives mean just as much. And in reality, we already use scripts everywhere in our flying. It's called a checklist. When it really comes down to it, your non-pilot passengers are just not likely to know how to handle certain things in the airplane. Some of the items that I include in my passenger briefing are very lightweight items, like the fact that they should feel comfortable letting the pilot know if they begin to feel the onset of motion sickness. Other things are a little more serious, like sterile cockpit etiquette. That's a very important one. I actually made my entire passenger briefing a custom checklist on ForeFlight. I'm usually standing in the doorway of the airplane anyways, helping the passengers find their seatbelts, get buckled in, find their headsets. Passengers usually have a water bottle with them. The girls usually have a purse. I show them where they can and cannot set it. Make sure the front seat passengers' feet are clear of the rudder pedals and show them where those are. Just kind of show them all that stuff. Get them familiar with the space and where the boundaries are. So once everybody's situated, I execute my briefing before I even climb on board. This way I can see, reach, point to, and touch everything that I'm gonna refer to. And I can also visually verify that I have the passenger's undivided attention. I can also face them with questions if they have them. I have ForeFlight open right here on my iPhone. We're gonna go to my pre-flight passenger briefing checklist and just step through the whole thing. I wanna show you exactly how I do it. So if there are things you feel that are missing from my pre-flight passenger briefing, please leave a comment down below. I want to hear that feedback. I'm a human, I can't think of everything. The only thing I ask is that you watch the entire video, get the context of my entire checklist, then leave a comment. What happens oftentimes is somebody will watch half the video, leave a comment about something I should have done, and then exit the video. They never watched the rest of it where I actually did that and explained it. So this is actually in the in-flight section of my checklist, and it's right before engine start. So I'm gonna tap on passenger briefing. That's it. Hey, appreciate that. First item, seat tracks and harnesses. I get the front seat passenger situated on the seat tracks, the fore and aft motion of the seat, right where they want it, right where they're comfortable and their extremities are out of the way of the controls. And I visually verify that the pins on the seat have dropped into their respective adjustments on the seat rails. This pretty much ensures that the seat is not gonna unexpectedly slide back on takeoff and climb. However, I do still mention that if the seat does slide back, they should just let it happen. They're only gonna slide back just a little bit, and they should not grab the control column. That is not a handle, those are the flight controls. Next, I take a look at everybody's seat belts and make sure that they have the correct ends paired together. They are firmly latched in. I also brief the usage and adjustments of the shoulder harnesses, and then the lap belts, of course, too. Show them how to properly latch them, make sure they are completely latched. You can feel and hear the click, the clasp goes all the way down, and then how to unlatch, unfasten the seat belts. They're gonna need to know how to do that in a hurry in an emergency situation. You don't wanna be having to explain that after a forced landing or in any other high-stakes situation like that. Door operation. I show them how to shut the door, how to latch the door, how to unlatch the door, and how to open the door. Depending on the airplane, this is right about where you should brief the passengers on the procedures of handling a door popping open on takeoff or climb. In this airplane, as long as the door was latched, it's a total non-event. If we do have to open the doors before a forced landing or on the ground, if we have an engine fire or something like that, depending on who is seated where and where the seats are adjusted, how much room there is to get out, I will explain the order of people that I want to get out. Sometimes it's easier for the back seat passengers to get out first if the front seats are scooted all the way up. If we're scooted back a little bit in the front seat or the front seat passenger is back a little bit, I'll generally say we'll hop out first, turn around, scoot our seats up, and let the next people out. Either way, the most important thing to stress here is do not go around the front of the airplane. Regardless of whether the engine is running or not, you get out of the airplane and you go to the back of the airplane. You go behind the airplane and keep going. Get away from the airplane. Basically, do not go in front of the wings. I quickly brief them on where the fire extinguisher is. We have an H3R Halon fire extinguisher meant for aviation. That's really important. I brief them just real quick on how to unlatch, activate, and use the fire extinguisher. But I also say if there is some sort of a cabin fire, I hope that I will not be incapacitated to the point where I can't be the one to use it. If there is some sort of a medical concern or issue during the flight, meaning somebody is starting to feel motion sick, getting a headache from the altitude or anything more severe obviously than that, even for the little things like motion sickness, please speak up at the onset of it. I would much rather know that you're starting to feel that way and we can kind of mosey our way to an airport and land. No big deal at all. Instead of you starting to feel miserable for the entire flight, and hopefully not, but it very well could lead to the point of them getting sick. So I brief them where the sick sacks are in the airplane. I physically pull them out, show them how to use them, and show them where they can be found in the airplane. Super important. You should have those things on board and you should tell your passengers exactly where they are. If the passengers see, hear, smell, feel something, they should say something. Nothing is too irrelevant. I may already know about it, but if the passenger feels like something is out of the norm or kind of unusual, speak up, ask about it. Hey, I see an airplane off to the left. Yeah, I may not see that airplane. Hopefully I do, but I may not. Or if you're smelling fuel or you smell smoke, hopefully we're just flying over a brush fire. In-flight photography and videography. It is absolutely encouraged. Take as many videos and photos if you want. The only thing I ask of the passengers is that if we are flying at night, please, please, please make sure the flash is off, or the video light on your phone, whatever it is off. A bright light all of a sudden in the cockpit at night, not good. Headset usage. Your non-aviation passengers have likely never worn a headset like this. I always tell the passengers, get the mic muff kissing distance from your mouth. You should be able to pucker your lips and feel the mic muff right in front of your mouth. That's how close it should be so that it can pick your voice up normally. We can carry on a normal conversation. While we are carrying on normal conversations, they should watch for my signals. I may put a hand up or a finger up or something in the middle of a conversation. I need silence for a moment because air traffic control is trying to talk to me. Their ears are not trained to pick up on the call sign or the tail number. Don't take it personally. I just need to communicate with air traffic control just real quick, and then we're back to the conversation. On that note, I then brief them on a sterile cockpit. I explain to them what a sterile cockpit means, and then I brief that I am going to ask for that before and during the takeoff and before and during the landing. It's just a time I need to concentrate. I need to listen to and feel the airplane, and I can't do that as effectively when there's the distraction of a conversation happening in my ears. As the pilot, you can put yourself on isolate. I like the passengers to be in the loop with me as much as possible. I will if we're in flight and passengers are carrying on a conversation and I need to do some coordinating with ATC, I'll put myself on isolate. But for the most part, I keep everybody in the loop. I want them to hear what's going on. Usually they like to just hear what's going on, but you've got to set boundaries. And after that, I ask them what questions they have. And this can be about anything. And I stress to them that throughout this entire briefing or the entire flight, after the flight, whenever it is, there are no stupid questions. Ask anything that comes to mind. I'm a pilot, I'm a flight instructor, I'm in aviation because I love it. I want to help them understand this whole thing and get them excited about it. There are no stupid questions. And if there are no further questions, then I usually just brief the route, tell them about how long to expect it to be. And then if there are no more questions and comments, I climb into the airplane and move on to the next portion of my checklist, starting the engine. At this point, I would really love to hear your feedback in the comments down below. Where do you think my gaps are in my passenger briefing? And what are some really important items that you have found are important in your flying career? And I would love to consider incorporating those into my own passenger briefing. Whatever your feedback is, positive or negative, I want to hear about it down in the comments. And let me know what other topics you would like to hear and talk about right here in the hangar in this format. Until next time, y'all know the drill. Stay happy, healthy, current, but most importantly, stay proficient. Get out and go fly on the next beautiful day that you have wherever you may be. We'll see you in the next video right here on Aviation 101. Till then, fly safe.